The Battle of Milne Bay, fought between August 25 and September 7, 1942, was a significant Allied victory that marked the first time during the Pacific War that the Japanese forces were decisively defeated in a land battle. The battle took place on the southern coast of New Guinea, at Milne Bay, a strategically important location for controlling sea routes in the region. Strategic context. In 1942, Japan was in the midst of a rapid expansion across the Pacific and Southeast Asia. With their forces advancing through the Solomon Islands and New Guinea, Japan sought to secure key locations to strengthen their position and threaten the Australian mainland. One such location was Milne Bay, a potential base for Japanese forces that could threaten Allied supply lines and the defense of Australia. The Allies, particularly the Australian Army, sought to prevent Japanese forces from gaining control of Milne Bay. The Japanese launched an amphibious assault on the bay in August 1942, intending to seize the airstrip and use the area as a forward base for further operations. However, the Allies were determined to stop them, and the stage was set for a critical confrontation. The battle began on August 25, 1942, when Japanese forces, under the command of Major General Tomitaro Horii, launched an amphibious assault on the Milne Bay area, landing approximately 2,000 soldiers. The goal of the attack was to capture the airfield at Gili Gili and establish a stronghold that could disrupt Allied operations in the region. The Japanese forces initially made some progress, but they soon encountered strong resistance from the Australian 7th Infantry Division and local Papuan troops, who were well prepared and entrenched in defensive positions. The Allies, utilizing a combination of infantry, artillery, and air support, mounted a determined defense, which forced the Japanese into heavy fighting under difficult conditions. The rugged terrain, coupled with torrential rain and the threat of malaria and disease, put a significant strain on the Japanese forces. While they were able to initially establish a beachhead, the Japanese were unable to break through the well-coordinated Australian defenses. As the battle progressed, the Allies launched counterattacks, supported by airstrikes from Allied aircraft, which further eroded Japanese morale and supply lines. Outcome and significance. After nearly 2 weeks of intense fighting, the Japanese forces were forced to withdraw on September 7, 1942. The victory at Milne Bay was a critical turning point in the Pacific War, as it marked the first time that Japanese forces had been decisively defeated in a land battle. The loss at Milne Bay was a significant blow to Japan's plans in the Pacific. It thwarted their attempt to capture a vital base in New Guinea and prevented them from gaining a foothold in the region. The victory also bolstered Allied morale and demonstrated that the Japanese could be stopped, even in their strongholds in the Pacific. The Battle of Milne Bay was a pivotal moment for the Allied forces in the South Pacific. It marked the beginning of a series of victories that would eventually push the Japanese forces out of New Guinea. The success at Milne Bay also paved the way for the Allied counteroffensive in the Solomon Islands and the eventual island-hopping campaign. For the Australians, the victory was a proud moment and reinforced their determination to defend their homeland and protect their Pacific territories. It also highlighted the growing effectiveness of Allied cooperation, as both Australian ground forces and American air support worked together to repel the Japanese attack. In the broader context of the war, the Battle of Milne Bay was a clear sign that the tide was beginning to turn against Japan, with Allied forces showing their ability to conduct successful operations and mount defenses in difficult and challenging conditions.